Hi, this is Shelby Mena from The Rotation.
And this is Zayn, CEO of The Rotation, and we want you to tune in to the Meet Me for Lunch podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Meet Me for Lunch podcast. And today for lunch, we have The Rotation Club in the motherfucking building, baby.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Let's go. So we have Zayn Fostock, who's the CEO of The Rotation Club. He's been instrumental in the brand's business development, operations, and inventory merchandising. And we have Shelby Mena, who is the Chief Creative Officer of The Rotation. Welcome, you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So what's up, guys? What's poppin'?
I think we need a shot.
Give him a little vibe.
Pour some of this Hennessy up.
Shelby looks nervous.
I am very nervous. Yes.
Give her a bigger shot than me.
And I'm very warm. You were right about taking off the jacket.
We'll turn the temperature down a little bit. Because, that Hennessy hit real right.
Oh, yeah.
So, The Rotation Club. The Rotation Club is a street rental platform that you guys started in 2019. Can you guys tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So The Rotation was started by me and my two friends, Baron Roth and Zachary Pabella.
Mm-hmm.
And we got going just in the 5 boroughs for about 8 months and kind of got gauged, everyone's, idea of it. It was a new model for everyone. Wanted to see how everyone, received it, and everyone loved it. And since then, we've expanded nationwide, and it's just been, just upward ever since.
That's amazing. I fucking love the company. I actually caught wind of you guys through a Google rabbit hole. So
what'd you search for that?
So it started with so Kev Lyles, he had gave the company this book called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, and I was rereading it, and it was talking about factories in Japan and shit like that, and clothes and shit. And then I started looking into clothes, and then I got into the rabbit hole on how hold on, I got it right here. So 84% of unwanted clothes enter a landfill or an incinerator last year in the U.S. 11 pounds of greenhouse gases are created by 1 pound of clothing in this life cycle, and 80 pounds of clothing is thrown away yearly by the average American. So, and then I got into the rabbit hole of hemp clothing and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, how can I, cause I wear a lot of clothes. So I'm like, what can I do for the planet that's sustainable? And then that's when I was like, rent the runway. I went into rent the runway, but I didn't like anything on there, of course. And then, I think I did look up streetwear rental clothing companies and stuff like that. And that's when I found you guys. And I was like, yo, this is fucking dope. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just subscribe to this. I think I started with 4 clothing.
Yeah.
At a time.
I thought you asked for 16 at first, right, or something like that, and then you.
I think so. Yeah, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy.
Oh,
because I wear a lot of freaking clothes. But that's how I caught one of you guys, and I've been a fan ever since. I've been with you guys since 2019, actually. So I guess from the beginning.
Definitely.
And I'm still here.
Early access
Yeah,
member.
Founding member.
She always has a new shirt, and I'm like, yo, you was buying new shirts every time. She's like, no, this is rented. And I thought she was bullshitting. I didn't even ask her nothing. I'm like, because she jokes a lot. So, so I'm like, all right. And then she said it again another time, and I'm like, yo, put me on in it.
Ain't no rapping my cat, baby. That's how it is. That's how you say it. But anyway, so how did you meet Baron and Kenneth and Shelby? How did this all start? Was it in college or
Honestly, Baron was before college for me. We were friends since 7th grade down in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we've been friends ever since then, and I've helped him, here and there with some of his early businesses in college. He made another app back then, more of a social type thing. And then we moved to New York together and decided to get this going. We built it up with Zachary Pabella, who went to Duke University. We met him here in the city. And then, just in January or a little bit earlier than that for you, right?
Well, so it was crazy. Like I found the rotation, half found, like sort of the same way you did. Like I had a birthday party in March, and I like wanted to fit, and so I like Googled rental streetwear because I didn't want to pay like $400 for like a look I was only going to wear once.
Right. Exactly.
Right. And then I couldn't find anything, and I was like super annoyed. And then me and Baron had actually gone to college together. He was good friends with my roommate at the time, Gabby Gosh.
Shout out to Gabby.
Shout out to Gabby. And we were like in the car on the way to the Hamptons, like for 4th of July. And like 3 months after, my birthday's in March, so 3 months after that, like a year and a half ago. And I was like, hey, like I heard you were like working on that app. Baron was working on the app, the Kim Kardashian app, the like where you take you screenshot.
Yeah.
Where you take a
And then you put clothes on people and stuff?
Well, you screenshot the app, and then like it tells you where you can buy the outfit in the screenshot, which I thought was genius already.
He started that.
No. They just brought him on to like help
for the team. Gotcha. So he was a
stage.
part of the development team.
Baron's an engineer.
Yeah.
Originally,
dope,
so he's a
dope.
coder. Yeah.
So I was like, I heard that you were at screenshot. How are you doing now? He was like, oh no, actually, I started a streetwear rental subscription company.
Wow.
I just Googled that 3 months ago. You were at my birthday party. Like, he literally was like, "Oh, I love this fit." It's like it was such a mind fuck. And I was like, "Tell me everything. Like, pitch me. Like, tell me everything."
Right.
And so we're there, like in the back seat, like on our way to like 3-hour car ride to the Hamptons, and all he's doing is like pitching me. And in my head, and that was like July. In my head, I was like, I invested a little bit. I'm gonna invest. On when I came to the meeting, actually like a couple weeks beforehand, I had decided like I hated my job, my previous job.
Where were you at?
Ghostwriting fiction novels, which sounds great, but like after the first one, it's like trash.
Yeah.
It is. And like, so I was like, I'm gonna ask for a job because y'all had no marketing at the time. Yeah, their Instagram was like 3 little square tiles, and I was like, y'all look like a scam, like literally in my head, because y'all had you look like a scam.
No. That's good that you walked in and gave your point of view, because you
a woman's touch. You heard?
Yeah.
But they're all, like, they were like really like, I sat there in the meeting and I was like, I had a whole list of stuff like ready to go, and I was like, so like, yeah, I want to invest, but like, can you give me a job and can I pitch you? And they were like, yeah, give us everything. And like literally I would say something and Baron would be like, holy shit, that's fire. Like literally so supportive from the beginning. I was like, okay, this is gas. Like this is gonna be good. And that was in February. So that was a whole like 8 months after we had the conversation.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, give me a job. And then they were like, okay, you start tomorrow. Like, let's go.
Wow, that's freaking dope.
Yeah, so I know you wear many hats. So you was in the novel industry. You didn't like it. We just found out. And you also in the music industry, correct? Or you did that?
Yeah, so I'm helping with Chris. My friend Chris is out in Brooklyn, and he, manages a collective of Brooklyn rappers. And, they're doing their thing and they're building, and I'm helping with their projects and helping with Chris has a bunch of other stuff going on where he's helping labels, and I'm helping because the rotation is amazing in that like the community that it like the people that come through and just sort of show their support. I always sort of as like the creative director wanted to be like, okay, well, how can we support you back? And it's just lucky that like there are a whole bunch of amazing like producers, rappers, engineers that like are part of our community. So I'm always like, how can we use the network to like build out projects or help, with creativity and stuff like that. And it's been amazing since the beginning, just tapping the network.
That's freaking dope. Zayn, you have 2 master's degrees, right?
I do, yeah.
Oh, so one in finance and one in entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And you used to work at Price Waterhouse Coopers, right?
I did, yeah.
How long were you there for?
I was there for about 2.5 years.
Got it.
It was a really corporate job. I didn't really like it very much.
Right.
At the time, like on the side, after hours, I would, consult with Baron and Zach on design choices for the company when we were just getting started. and came in with all the ops work for them as well, for us. Mm-hmm. And like back in December, I was just like, fuck it, I'm done with this. So I quit my job, and I started full time at the rotation in January 1. Wow. So it's been about a year now.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to think it's been a year. I'm sure for everyone in general, but
yeah, no, that's amazing, dude.
And that's a big risk too, because was you guys doing really well by the time you quit, or you guys still?
It was, we was just when we launched nationwide, so there were definitely some question marks. Okay. It wasn't set in stone that we were going to succeed. Of course, like that's part of the risk. I felt my job previously was such a safe bet. And it was almost too safe. I was ready to kind of, branch out and do something that was a little bit more risky for, of course, a better reward and to be more gratifying towards people and be able to support them and actually like.
Mike, sorry.
Oh yeah, no problem. Just be able to make people happy with certain things. Where I was before, it was all just the numbers and things like that with big corporations. It wasn't anything one for one, I'm getting compliments on these clothes or things like that. So I've really enjoyed that entire aspect, being able to give back and really build a community around rental.
So what was your favorite part of the company that made you take that big leap that had you convinced okay, I want to be part of this team?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would say it was number one. My personal interest in fashion was hugely instrumental in me wanting to leave, because it's something that I've always been into more as a hobby for the past 5-10 years. My dad is really into it. He's an older guy. He's European at heart, and I mean he is European. He's not an American. so yeah, I got tons of influence from him with more traditional brands like Ferragamo and Cucinelli and brands like that. And because of that, I was like, this is a great way for me to blend my business knowledge and experience that I've had with, a more creative aspect that I enjoy so much, fashion, of course. So that was the number one reason, being able to come in and say, hey, I'm going to go start buying all these clothes for the company, get to see all the clothes and, touch them and really figure out what I think people want to wear.
Yeah.
And that's always, it's ever evolving, what I think people want and what people actually want.
Yeah. And then in those corporate jobs, there's not much of a creative expression through fashion. Everybody's just wearing ties, suit and some fly suits. And
I gotta say, it wasn't bad, not having to think when I got dressed in the morning.
School and shit.
But, everything else, it was definitely, very dry, very kind of, vanilla. And I needed something more than that. So
yeah, and then Shelby, you have a passion for fashion too. Yeah. Was it your grandfather or your father?
My grandfather, yeah. So he, 40, 50 years ago, he started was the big menswear person, with the stores and stuff in our hometown in Brownsville, Texas, which is right on the border. So he would, politicians in Mexico would come through, drop 10, 15, 20K, per season, and then go back having bought Hugo Boss, Armani, all these insane brands that I, when I was little, I loved being in the store and I loved being, associated with the nice store in town and and it just kind of, it was funny because when I was little, my mom reminded me this recently. She was like, you always said that you would work at the store. And it didn't make any sense because you would work. You said you would work at the store, but then you also said you were going to move to New York. So I didn't really get it. And now you've done it. And now it's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking, that's crazy.
And what was crazy too? I was actually here last night at the studio. And I was talking to somebody and they was just like, yeah, I don't really know what I want to do. Especially now during the pandemic, I know that I don't want to do this, but I want to do something. And I was like, well, what can answer that question is, what did you want to do when you was a kid? And nobody told you anything about anything. What was it? What's the first thing that comes to mind? If I ask you, what did you want to do as a kid? And then she was still stuck, but I'm like, you'll think about it and it'll come with, maybe she just didn't want to tell me, because sometimes people are shy. You know what I'm saying? Even for me, when people used to ask me what I want to do, I'd be a little shy, but I'm like, I'm a fucking record label executive. Fuck is you talking about? You know? But yeah, that's what kind of helped me get out of my funk too, because at some point I was stuck. I was like, damn, what is it that I want to do? And I'm like, you know what did I want to do when I was like 8? And it was like, it was music. All right, cool. So then that's my lane. Like, there's no doubt about it. So it's cool that like you was able to trace back.
Oh yeah, and it's literally been everything. Like I'd watched The Devil Wears Prada like 40 times.
That's such a good movie.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
And I watched it with my mom, and like we know every line together. It's like I was always wanting to be in fashion, but I just never thought I like had a way in, because fashion's very like you have to know
tough.
somebody to know somebody to know somebody. But I also wanted to be a film director growing up. I also wanted to like write movies, and like everything that I've ever wanted to do is perfectly encapsulated in this job.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do like it's so many different things. And I wanted to be involved in music, and it's like,
and you are
everything, right? It's because fashion, and specifically streetwear, is everything as it relates to people, which is the best type of like industry to be involved in. Anything related to people, because you always have stories. You always have like something interesting to build an idea around.
Were you guys worried when COVID hit? Like, did it slow down business? I mean, I'm sure it did.
Yeah. No, a little bit, definitely. I mean, we had to pause our operations for a couple months, you know, when everyone's on complete lockdown.
Yeah.
It's tough to justify the price when you know, you literally can't do anything. And even if you're on Zoom, it's only from the waist up. You know what I mean?
I still be fly on Zoom. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that. But, you know, I knew it was going to kind of turn around. And, you know, even since June, I would say it started picking back up. We had so many people come back who were on, you know, we put people on pause.
Oh, okay.
And like 95% of people came back. So everyone was like ready to come back. They just like physically could not. They were like, I'm really ready to. Like they would email us and be like, I wish I could join again right now. This was like, let's say in April or May. And then by June or July, everyone was back.
Yeah, because people started going outside and
talks. And that's the thing. Like, you know, unlike Rent the Runway that has done so much for formal wear and things like that, like we're everyday wear. So as long as people are going outside and seeing some friends, you know, that's enough justification.
I wanted to ask you guys that too, because you guys both come from like luxury brands, like, you know, European brands and stuff like that. Why streetwear?
I think generally streetwear is kind of like integrating with those luxury brands. Nowadays, you know what I mean? Where the lines are blurring, so it's much more. It seemed much more obvious for me and for us to kind of like get into streetwear as opposed to like just doing the Armanis of the world, for instance, you know. And look at like Fear of God and Xenia. You know, they've done now 2 or 3 collabs together, and you know, it looks great. It's a great mesh between the streetwear world and the traditional like Italian like well-to-do, like, you know, European fashion vibe. So I can see that evolving, you know, over time. The next 5 years is only going to be more and more of that. So we wanted to be on top of it.
So what are some of the benefits for someone subscribing to the brand and to the app? What are some of the benefits?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think the benefits are just being able to wear what you want without having to have that upfront cost. You know, you spend much less upfront, and you can switch out what you wear, experiment with things, try out brands that we recommend to you that you might have never heard of before. We try to prop up a lot of like up and coming designers from around the world. So we've had some Korean designers in as well, called like Weekenders and ADD, for instance.
It's dope.
People have been renting them like very, very much. And prior to that, you know, they've never been propped up in the U.S.
And I don't like their website. I tried buying some stuff from their website, and I was like, let me go back to my shit.
I don't think you can switch it to English.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
That's a good look for you guys, because you guys are giving exposure to brand new brands. So you guys are like breakthrough, like breaking them through, and that's fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, that gives me the most satisfaction on the brand side as well. Like just being able to prop these brands up that have had no exposure in New York or anywhere in the U.S. So,
and the thing too, but this is one of the reasons why I like you guys a lot. But like, for example, like when I'm like on the road and I'm like going crazy and I want some fly shit, like the same day that I land, I'll go to like the mall and buy some shit, and a medium, a Kith medium is not the same medium as Supreme, and it's not the same medium as, so I will always end up with clothes that didn't fit me, and I will pay like $100 for a shirt that like I ended up just giving away because, you know, it just didn't fit right, but I needed it for that moment and I made it look fly or whatever, but I can't make it look fly all the time because it doesn't fit right. So that's one of the reasons why I like you guys a lot, and I appreciate the subscription plan. And like, why was it that you guys did subscription based versus a store?
A store meaning like just buying stuff straight up?
Yeah, like why didn't you guys just put up like a store in Times Square
call it the
rotation club? Like, why is it a subscription?
Yeah, no, do you have anything? I mean, I definitely do. I've just been talking a lot, so.
Do it. Okay, do you mean a store with rental? Like, still rental happening?
Like a storefront.
Yeah. Like,
but with rental components still involved?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's hard, because, like, how do you get to, like, with subscription, that's nationwide. We just ship it out, and it's, like, a monthly thing, and you can try, like, we have unlimited with rental. Like, you can, you know, try something on, and if you hate it, return it, and we send it right back. With a storefront, that's just a very, like, singular point of contact.
Because people got to come to that city or to that place or to that.
Right. But don't get us wrong, we're down for, like, a pop-up. We're down, like, I mean, that's the problem. It's, like, once COVID, like, really, like, gets taken care of and we enter a semblance of normalcy. I mean, all of the in-person interactions that we're going to have, like all of the pop-ups, you know, fashion shows to help underrepresented brands, you know, like Complex Con, like everything is on the table, and to really like bring in that element of like personableness, like having a session of producers where you just have producers like of all different types of like professionalism, where you know, you have big producers who like have been in the game for 10 years, you have producers who popped off of one single, you have these young producers who like don't know what they're doing and are just really interested. You could get them all in a room together, like from our network, and they could all vibe and see what we create. Like, that's nuts. So the in-person thing is just a whole other level that we just haven't even been able to unlock for like circumstances beyond our control.
Right.
But like once we get there, it's gonna be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So, definitely exciting.
So
what was your reason though? Because you said you had a reason.
I think my reason generally was access. People don't necessarily have access to, you know, streetwear designers. They can't go into like someone in Kansas City, for instance.
That's a fact.
Like, there's no Blue and Cream or opening ceremony in Kansas City. They can't go to like a boutique streetwear place to look at clothes and see what they like and what fits well and what doesn't fit well. So like, yeah, we could have done it in New York City, but you know, there's a lot of competition here. And we saw there were so many more people around the country that would like to, you know, try out some more fashionable items and get involved with some more contemporary designers. That haven't been able to have access to that. So I think that was a big reason why we wanted to do digital and like keep it just like online for now. But as Shelby said, like we would love to do pop-ups in major metro areas that, you know, act more as just a storefront. It's more of like a services type thing, you know, come in, we'll do dry cleaning for you when you have items and you want to keep them for longer, or, you know, we'll give you styling advice and sizing advice and things like that. You know what I mean? Like way more stuff. We'll have events like, you know, in the same vein as like Soho House, for instance, like do like movies or like do, you know, have a designer come in and talk to our members himself or herself. Things like that.
The dry cleaning was one of the reasons too why I fucked with you guys a lot too.
You don't like dry cleaning?
No, I love it. I love it because when the laundry, like the detergents, it's bad. It's bad for the planet.
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
Yeah.
Because I know when I wash my shirt, it goes small. So now, so that's
it's true. They take care of the clothes and stuff like that, and you're also able to buy it because, like, okay, Kith, for example, the medium is fucking extra large for me.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
But when I find a small on the website, I'm able to buy it because I know that's my size. And when I go to the Supreme store, I know that's my size now. So I thank you guys for that. But I also feel like the subscription based pricings, that's like the future. Like even like Mercedes Benz is like, they have a subscription plans, and BMW too, like they have subscription plans for their cars too now. Yeah, it's like $1,000 a month, and you could get any car you want monthly. And you could trade it in and shit like that. So like you guys are just totally in the future.
It's just more and more things are becoming subscription.
Yeah.
Like I can, I lease my phone, I lease my car,
exactly.
I lease my house, whatever it is, or rent, lease, whatever.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like more and more things. It's always a hurdle for the next thing. Like people were like, Uber, like someone uses their car to like drive people around. That's ridiculous. And of course now it's like, second nature.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk.
For the moment too, it's just for that picture of the grand.
Yeah, and also the sustainability aspect is huge. Going back to that.
Yeah. That was like what really caught me. That like, the fish weren't getting poisoned anymore. Yeah. Like I'm contributing to that.
I mean, not to say that all of the brands that we have are sustainable brands themselves, but we at least increase the shelf life of a lot of those clothes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we do try to bring in a lot of sustainable, like upcycling type brands. Brands that are reusing fabrics to create new clothing, like that's all great, and we want all of that as well. But for the brands like that still are doing the traditional way of making clothes, we might as well try to increase the lifespan of those clothes when we can.
Mm-hmm.
How you guys came up with the different subscription? Because I know you have 2 pieces for $89, 3 pieces for $129, and 4 pieces for $159. So y'all sat down and just came up with how y'all came up with that price?
Yeah, no, we had a dartboard with all the different numbers. Threw it. I mean, obviously there was like pricing and stuff involved, like a lot of Excel sheets, used to be good at that.
Before he converted.
Yeah, before I converted. No, I mean, it was all just a pricing thing, like we've been experimenting with a lot of discounts, especially around the holiday season too. We want to see generally what people are willing to pay for the pieces that they're renting, and how long they're renting them for.
How does that process work on like getting clothes? Like you guys get them wholesale? Like how does that work?
Yeah.
That's you. You are merchandise.
That's his question.
No, do you guys reach out to particular brands?
You guys have relationships and stuff with like the designers?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So like at the very beginning, like we had no reputation, obviously. We're like this new model that no one really knew about. And we would go to a brand and they'd be like, fuck off. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was also, I mean, to COVID, honestly, it kind of helped us in that way where COVID was able to, brands weren't able to sell a lot of their clothes at Saks or Nordstrom or
a
lot of dead stock
or opening ceremony. So a lot of brands started coming around since March, but just taking a step back at the beginning, we would like be as hacky as we could. We would shop sample sales and we would, ask friends who had good style if we could like borrow their clothes. We never give them back.
I bought them.
Yeah, exactly.
Sample sales are key.
Sample sales.
You find a lot of fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Underrated fire.
Yeah.
Shout out 260 sample sale. For
Facts. That's exactly what I was thinking. I get emails from them. Shout out to 260.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it started out super hacky, but ever since I would say December, January, me personally, like really just started doing as much as I could to build wholesale relationships. I was shopping shows in Vegas and in New York, the trade shows, Project and Liberty Trade Show, all those really big ones. Massive. I had no idea how big they were, honestly.
Yeah.
Like insane. Like 10 football fields of clothes to look at.
Wow.
Yeah, insane.
His dream.
Yeah.
His dream come true.
Well, I mean,
that's dope.
you gotta really search. Not everything's great at those places, I gotta say.
That's why I hate thrift shopping. You find some dope shit, but it takes you like 2 hours to find that shit. Fuck that.
So much patience.
So for our listeners, because I know Jelina's very familiar with this, so she says she likes you guys cleaner service.
Yeah,
right?
cleaning service.
So what is it? Dry cleaning. So what you guys do? So you guys don't want us to wash the clothes, right?
No, I mean we recommend that if you do, of course, read the label and just like do it yourself. It's funny because like you were talking about, doing it dry cleaning yourself, and I feel like nowadays there's so many clothes that they want you to jump through hoops to like clean the clothes. It's like wash it inside out separately.
Yeah.
Like like like
Tumble dry low.
like put it on a drying rack, but not in the sun, like in the shade, but definitely outside. And you're
Sage
like,
it.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Sage it.
Yeah,
Send good energy.
And it'll dry.
yeah.
Pray to the
Exactly,
the
like-
fashion gods.
Spin around 3 times, stop. That's
Yeah.
a SpongeBob
Yeah,
reference.
so you guys just take care of that. I love that.
So yeah, like we just partner with a dry cleaner locally in New York City that we trust them to like read the labels and do it themselves, and we just ship it out to them, and they clean it and send it back. And we also do all the shipping as well. I mean, that we pay for the shipping and the returns too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Free shipping,
Yeah.
baby.
So
That shit get to my crib mad fast.
Hold up, my fault. So what happens if they damage it though? Like if I spill
Yeah.
something in
Yeah, I mean, so we have like light insurance on all the pieces. So if you lightly damage
That's
it,
dope.
there's like a small stain or something like that, clearly an accident, something,
Yeah.
You didn't expect to happen, we'll cover that. It's totally fine. Of course, if you send back a shirt that's like ripped in half, we're going to charge you.
Which has
Yeah.
happened.
Not
Wow.
often.
And
No.
not, yeah.
Not often. Not
Not in
often.
half, but like it
But
was
that's
like
crazy.
mauled. It looked like he was mauled by a friggin' bear, this guy.
Yeah.
I would have just sent an email like, y'all fucked up, guys. But here.
it was a drunk night.
Yeah. Like,
Exactly. I'm like, sorry, man. I'm
but it's
charging you.
because, and I was telling them this the other day too, when we had like, was it lunch, dinner, whatever?
Dinner.
I don't know what day it is.
Early dinner.
Early dinner.
Yeah.
I was telling them like, because they were saying like some people be complaining like on some wild shit, and then I was like, it's because you guys look mad fucking legit. Like you don't know that it's these two young people behind that website, so people go on there and just say some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like now once people know that you guys are like grinding it out and started from the bottom, I think people will have more patience and take care more of the clothes.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I worked in the restaurant industry a lot when I was young, just like high school. Like, it's unbelievable, like the types of people you get and like the things that some people can say, like just to save some money. You know what I mean? It's not like they're really, I mean, of course, like people have concerns and like we address all those concerns, but some people just want to like,
get their money
just
back.
get their money back
Yeah.
any way they can and just complain like as much as they can. Obviously, we, answer them respectfully, but at the end of the day, like, those types of people, you just kind of just let them go.
Yeah, they think you guys are like a big corporation, but it's a grind.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a grind.
But we've put in a lot of time and effort to looking like that and to looking very as legit as possible so that we can stand up to sort of these like bigger brands who have, immense resources and are trying to get out into rental. And it's like, well, the reason you're not doing as well is because you haven't really built out the community. Like you haven't really like gotten into the ground and like literally asked people like, what is it that you want? Okay, I hear you, implement that. And I think that's what we've really gotten down very well, just supporting our members. Like you asked, like, what do you get? Well, you get, clothing rental, you get that whole process, but you also get a network of insane creatives. You get like unlimited support from us. You get like whatever you need to feel safe and happy in your choice to like support us.
So this is my boy brand, right? It's called the Very Clean. So let's say if he wants to connect with you guys and put his clothes in the rotation, what's the process for
Honestly, just email us or message us on
DM
our
us.
website.
Wow.
I mean, super easy. We do get a lot of those requests sometimes. And basically all we need is some type of story behind the brand.
Yeah.
As long as we can relay that story to our members and at least have some idea like where it came from and what it's all about, then we're happy to onboard you guys. And like I said, we want to prop up and coming designers as much as we can. So if someone says, "Oh, I put like whatever, like a random print on a shirt and that was it," like the one shirt, we're gonna be like, "Nah, like we're good." But anything, any type of like story or just anything interesting to talk about with it, as long as we can convey that to our members and people who want to join, I'm sure people trust us. That's the thing. More so than just rental, it's community. It's like trusting us to provide brands that people don't know about but want to try out, things like that. So as long as we say, hey, this brand is pretty legit and good quality and the prints are nice, like the color, like I love those colors on that. That's great. Yeah, some Keith Haring vibes too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. That's actually was my next question. Like, so how do you guys go about that? Like, you both with Charmin, like, how do you guys go about that? Like, let's say one of you guys members has a subscription and only knows about, like, let's say luxury brands, but it's not that familiar with streetwear brands. So how do you guys go about that, like implementing that? Because I know you mentioned that earlier, like there's new brands, there's brands out of Japan that I think that's fire. Like, you know, so how do you guys kind of like pitch that to your members?
Mostly through brand
bios.
Brand bios.
Let's talk about that. What is a brand bio?
Yeah.
Brand bios, posts, like just giving a little bit of context. And I think like when you pull from the community, like Harry from Gracious MFG, like he came through us, like a guy, one of our members was like, yo, I have a friend who has a brand. And this brand ended up being Gracious MFG, which is freaking fire as hell.
Yeah, like Odell Beckham's worn them a couple times.
Yeah. Brad Wing, like he has all the NFL like on lock. But like Harry has been so amazing with like, you know, we did a shoot with one of his pieces and he got us on like Young Water Gun, the like Instagram page. And it's like, it's a lot of that. It's just, you know, building stories around brands, building stories around pieces, giving a lot of information out, like answering any questions, accepting any, like when someone brings you a brand, not being dismissive, being like, okay, I'm going to look into this, doing very thorough research behind it, and then seeing at the end of the day, like, yes or no, will this vibe within the context of the inventory? Because if the members, like, don't touch it, like, we don't want to, like, create false hope within designers. And it's just a different market. Like, you might just be dealing with a different market.
Yeah, so, like, when you go on the website, Boogie, and you see, like, a shirt, you click on a shirt, there's a description on, like, the designer and, like, the history of the brand and stuff like that. And that's the bio that they was talking about. And people can stay with the clothes as long as they want, right?
Yeah.
And they have the option to buy it as well, too.
Yeah. And the longer you hold it, the cheaper it will be to buy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaking dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think more importantly, like the amount of times it's been rented will go into that. You know what I mean? Like if it's been rented, if you're the first person renting it, like, you know, we'll give you a little bit of discount, but it's not going to be as much as if, you know, anyone else has worn it before you. Because then, of course, it's used.
Right.
You know, we're going to give you a solid discount.
But it's crazy.
Honestly,
how
at
much,
that point, you oh yeah, good.
No, but it's crazy how much like new inventory we still have, like stuff that has never been opened ever, and like people get like first round, second round, third round, maybe a fourth round, and then it's decommissioned. And the most graceful thing in that process is that by the time it's kind of we're ready to like let it out of inventory, someone's already ready to buy it.
Yeah.
So it's a very lovely cycle, and then it just takes on and you just let it go.
Yeah.
Like a butterfly.
Like a butterfly.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a child who's grown up and gone to college and is just ready to like, live
Out
his
of the
life.
nest.
Yes.
That's dope. How important is it to involve Black-owned brands for you guys?
Extremely important. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we already have, I'd say, probably around 15%. Yeah, I remember we pledged it's called the 15% pledge. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It was an IG campaign.
Aurora, she does the 15% pledge. When we accepted it, we were at 13%.
Okay.
And now we're probably closer to 17, 18.
Okay.
It's insane though how like we get any sort of really cohesive Black brand that comes to us, we onboard pretty much like immediately. But because there's just no funding towards Black brands, it's incredibly hard. You have you have Virgil, you have Heron, you have like Pierre Moss. We have all the big brands, but it's these like younger, like up and coming. And, you know, I'm good friends with John Dean, and we just onboarded his collab with LeBron, which was amazing, which we got through PR, that connection. I mean, my friend Sid, she just did her Vote shirt. That was her first shirt ever. And, like, oh my God, that Vote campaign was just insane. And it's, like, it's literally just, like, she literally DM'd me. She was like, Shubs, I have a shirt. Tell me if it's good or bad. And I hate when I get those messages because I'm like, fuck, okay. And especially when it's someone who's, like, who I really like. I was a fan of Sid before like we even were
She's
friends.
a dope photographer, and she's a photographer for the Republican Party in Alabama, right?
Well, yeah.
She
So
was, or
not
yeah,
by
she was.
choice. She got fired. It was a whole big thing. It was terrible. But no, now she's getting into fashion photography because we're lining up those jobs for my girls so that we can get her into New York. But she sent me that DM, and I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Game face. And she like sends me the shirt, and I'm like, holy fuck, no, this is great. Yeah, this is good. We're good. And she's like, you're not bullshitting? And I'm like, no, I would not bullshit. And it's literally a relief that I don't have to bullshit.
Right.
Because sometimes you have to like kind of maneuver out of it. But like, so strong. And that so we haven't actually onboarded it yet because of problems with her supplier. But like, to gas that up and to like, you know, create it as a separate entity, like to do a whole vote campaign around it and be like, we'll have the shirt when we're capable of, but if you want it now, buy the shirt. Like, here's the link to buy the shirt. Because we're not, like, stingy with our shit. But that whole vote campaign ended up, like, reaching so many people. And the pictures that came out of it, like, it's one of the things that I'm most proud to be involved in. Like, me and Zayn both were in the campaign.
I think it's important for everyone to get out there and vote, nowadays especially. I think, you know, people want to see changes in the world, and sometimes they let it get by if they don't get out there and actually, you know, make the difference to cast the ballot themselves. And, you know, it's important to get in front of that and see, you know, the changes that you want in the world.
There are a bunch of people that are oppressed, and there are a bunch of terrible things going on in the world, and the most wide-reaching entity that could help save people at that level is unfortunately the government, but it's true. So we need to make sure that the right people are being represented. But like, it's one of those things that I'm gonna look back on in 30 years and be like, we fucking did that. Like, we fucking like were part of this girl's vision.
And the most, I think, in my opinion, the most important presidential campaign in my lifetime. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was really proud. That's the only reason why I did it too. Because she hit me. She was like, you want to be a part of this? And then I was like, oh, okay, I fuck with the photographer. I'm down. The reason why I vote is because the generation before me was affected by laws that were put in place by politicians in the 90s that ended up affecting myself. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that you guys are collaborating with black-owned brands. Definitely. Because we're definitely the underdog in this shit. Yeah. And we're the flyest.
Like the 15 to 18%?
15%.
Well, could you explain the commitment?
So Aurora's pretty much asking for...
You can talk to them.
Aurora is pretty much asking for a 15% pledge that major sort of like, you know, the Bloomingdales, the Targets, reserve 15% of their shelf space for black-owned brands. Because, I went through the same thing where I was like, 15% pledge, oh, we got that in the freaking bag. Like, and then I started doing research, and then I went through every single one of our brands. And all these brands that I thought were black-owned brands were two freaking Scandinavian dudes out in, like, Denmark. I was like, what? Like, because the culture stems from black creativity. And there are 100 brands that tried to rip off that black creativity. And because of their network and because of, you know, just an imbalance of power, they get all the funding. And so it feels like streetwear is black owned, but it's not, absolutely not. You have 2, 3, 4, 5 of the big top brands that had to have come up through music. Virgil came through Kanye. Heron came through Virgil. You know, and it's such a like very thin pipeline to get to success for black-owned brands. Whereas white brands, you just have to have the vibe and have a couple connects, and you get funding and build that out, and you're still stealing and cheating from the black community. And it's continuous. It's just, it's insane. So it's like we really have to, that's what I love about us. We are the great equalizer. So you can have that Scandinavian brand, you can have Virgil, and then you can have like the basement brand in Brooklyn, that one guy doing it like by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're paying the subscription price, and because everyone is getting the same type of subscription, there's no sort of like extra elite level, whatever the fuck. Like everyone is on the same fucking wave, and everyone is on the same playing field. So let's see who fucking gets it when it's only about creativity. And then we can give that info back to brands, like we did with Tommy from Tombogo. We literally polled the audience. I'm like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? And help those smaller brands build the fuck up and get funding.
Yeah. That's why I understand that, remember that rant that Kanye West had on the Sway in the Morning interview when he said, you ain't got the answer, Sway. So we don't know the frustration that happens behind the scenes for black designers.
Right.
And that's what he was trying to get across. It's like, yo, like, these people get the funding, but because I'm black, I don't. They think I should just be a rapper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until like I was like, damn, people don't understand when it went over everybody's heads, and everybody was just seeing him frustrated. Definitely. And that
no context.
yeah, and it's just like, damn, you guys just don't know. Like I was watching Rick Ross, he was saying like a hater is somebody that likes to talk about what you do, but they've never done it. Talk about the things that you want to do that you should do, but they've never done it. And I was like, yo, that is a fucking hater. Like, you don't know what the fuck I do, but you got an opinion on what I do. Fuck out of here. Then you do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it's like nowadays.
Yeah.
No, really.
I mean, honestly, I think, to talk a little bit, I guess, against Virgil, I remember when he first started as the creative director at Louis, and he was like, I'm trying to make this more inclusive for everyone, and like, blah, 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 whatever. I mean, Louis prices have gone up since he became creative director. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, like, it's great that he's in the position that he's in, and, like, he has this whole family of people around him to, like, kind of diversify, like, the Louis Vuitton brand. But it hasn't really taken that step. Like, Louis Vuitton is never going to go cheap enough for like the average person to rent or to buy, what I mean? So we're really trying to, like, take that and really make it inclusive for everyone. You know what I mean? And just kind of say, hey, like, you can rent Louis, you can rent this, you can rent that, and it's accessible. You know what I mean?
I hope he finds his way back. Sometimes, you get lost in the path, and then you find your way like, oh shit, this was my
I mean, I'm not
plan.
like the biggest like Virgil hater or anything like that.
No,
Like,
yeah, but it happens.
Like, I know
just
a lot
happens.
of people are now, but like, that's not me. But yeah.
After that tweet, that was weird. I'll be honest with you.
No.
But it was the pandemic. We had people going crazy.
Wait, what tweet?
Did you hear about the $50 thing?
Yes. I'm gonna keep it too, Virgil.
That was bad.
I was like, yo, bro, what the hell are you doing?
I think he got canceled.
But what trends you guys want to see in 2021, or that you guys foresee?
Personally, like I would like it to go more minimalist myself, and I hope that it does. I mean, when I say minimalist, I guess I mean a little bit less branding that there has been in the past, like huge, Kith names or whatever it might be, like kind of, a little bit smaller, smaller branding, and like, different colorways, like, more of like the futuristic, but still in the now.
Like
type.
John Elliott?
Yeah, he's a good start to that, I would
Okay.
say. But his stuff is very like, hang out on the couch type vibe, I think.
But like really good quality.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
great quality, and like has its own nuanced cuts to it. You know what I mean?
Very
It's not like-
southern, like very southern influenced.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of like not chrome, but like gunmetal type colors, and like what would you call this? Like pastels, things like that. Like Kanye, honestly, like to give him credit, like I love the style that he's had the past like 2 years. Like I love the colors that he wears, and the general like shape that he's wearing, like from top to bottom.
And the sneakers too.
Yeah, and the sneakers as well.
The shapes
But,
are
I mean,
different,
for
the
most
colors.
part. Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part. There was that one. I was like, what?
So, any advice that you guys would give for a startup company?
Do
What
it.
advice would you give?
Yeah,
Do it.
do
Do
it.
it.
Yeah.
Nike
Do
has
it
the
and don't
best
listen
slogan.
to what your friggin' jackass friends have to say.
Yeah,
Facts.
don't listen to anyone and
When
do it
they-
yourself.
Yeah. When anyone says like, I mean, if you really believe in your shit and you really think that you have something innovative, like, just go for it and do it in your 20s. Don't do it do it when you have like the time and the space and the energy and the creativity around you and the people around you to like prop you up. Like, just go for it.
And also, I would say don't hesitate to ask people for help. Like,
yes.
Someone who has never started a business before, how do I incorporate the business? How do I get it started? Like, what do I need to do? Like, these aren't things that someone, who is in another industry knows. But I'm sure through someone or through LinkedIn or through whatever platform you want to go through, you can find someone who will help you to tell you exactly, oh, you need to do this and this and this. And then it becomes a checklist, at least to get started. And then you can really kind of focus on what you're trying to do. I think people might get a little apprehensive a little scared to be like, I don't know how to actually start a business and do all the administrative things behind it. Mm-hmm. But, there's a lot of people out there who are willing to help.
You'll find a way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tap your network.
Exactly.
Exactly. Honestly, I wouldn't have known how to start a business. I'm just lucky that my good friend from college was working on the thing that I really wanted to exist. And I'm really lucky that I've gotten here to this point, and it's Zayn has taught me so much about business that I could probably just peace out and start my own. No, but
wait, what?
We missed it. She said she loves the company.
Yeah,
she's gonna stay forever. That's what she said.
I must have selective hearing, man. I don't know what happened.
But it's lucky that the people tap the network around you, learn from the people around you. Don't have any ego about it. If there's someone in the room who's smarter than you about it, listen to what the fuck they're saying and take a step back, be okay, I'm gonna absorb this. Like Jay, yes.
I've learned to take step backs though. Ego is definitely a big problem for me. But then I was just you know what? I'm fucking dumb. Let me listen to the person that's fucking talking and shit. But
Not dumb, stop. You so
I'm a little smart.
You so smart.
Shelby, I know you Mexican.
Hey.
What are your favorite foods?
Hey, vámonos.
Let's talk about it.
Enchiladas.
Yay!
Tacos.
It's Taco Tuesday, by the way.
Oh, yes. We
Is it
should have some tacos.
Is it Tuesday?
Right?
No, literally, I didn't know. What am I thinking about? Oh, pupusas. I love Colombian food. Colombian appetizers are where it's at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buñuelos, which is back to Mexican. Tamales. Oh my God. I always have tamales for Thanksgiving, and my mom was like, you cannot come home. And I did not get my freaking tamales.
Damn.
I didn't get my tamales. I didn't get my proper barbecue. I didn't get my proper tacos, bistec tacos.
Yeah.
That's everybody.
There's a cart that sells them. I know it's not the same home cooking.
Yeah.
She's the worst with New York Mexican food. She's like, this isn't real. This isn't real Mexican.
That's true, though.
Yeah. Although in the past couple weeks, I have found a couple of fire-ass spots.
What are the spots?
The names escape me now.
Got you.
But I will text everyone the fire shit. No, I found a place on Delancey. No, not Delancey. A mile away from my house. Literally on the corner of Delancey and some other place. I walked in. I was like, holy shit, I'm home. And they brought me chips and guac, and they brought me a spicy marg, and they were like, ¿Qué necesitas, mi cielo? I was like, oh my God.
You felt at home.
They were playing the music. Oh, yeah. I was so at home. I was just like, oh, shit.
That's being in Detroit and then going to a Dominican restaurant and the shit tastes like ass. You were like, y'all, nah, take me back to Uptown.
When I went to college upstate, I went to a Spanish restaurant. I'm like, who's cooking?
Where upstate did you go to?
Fulton, Montgomery, so it's 40 minutes away from Albany.
Oh, okay. Is it north of Albany?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
I know Saratoga Springs really well. So
okay.
Right around there.
So it's near there. Yeah,
pretty close.
Me too. I love Saratoga Springs, bro.
Hey, represent. That's
and
awesome.
Lake George.
Yeah.
You fucking love it. It's nice up there. What's your favorite foods?
Favorite foods? I mean, since Shelby said Mexican, Shelby is Mexican. My dad is Lebanese, so I have to represent that a little bit. Great Lebanese place in East Village called Al Zaatar. Check it out.
Gotcha.
Great, meze, kibbeh, and hummus, and tabbouleh, and the whole
Love
9
that.
yards. It's really healthy, slightly healthier than Mexican food.
Yeah. All this stuff is like grilled.
Mexican food goes straight to your ass, bro. Like to your ass and to your long ass. Like literally, like oh my god.
Boogie, tell them your experience, Boogie.
I like everything. I had Peking duck last night. It was fire.
Peking duck?
Yeah, at a Chinese restaurant. Oh my god.
Oh, I never had duck before.
I heard about it.
Really good.
The name of it, right? The name of the restaurant.
No, the dish is Peking.
No, there
duck.
is. It's a Peking duck house. Yes, is that place I think? But it's a dish like they have it at a lot of like Chinese places. You get some of the skin, some of the actual inside, like the meat, of course, and stuff like that.
It's a bougie dish as fuck.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is a question for both of you guys.
So bougie.
What is your favorite? It's a double question. What's your favorite luxury brand and what's your favorite streetwear brand? Both of you guys.
Okay, Feng Chen Wang right now is my favorite luxury brand, and Peace Bird is actually my favorite luxury brand, and those are both Asian brands.
Asians be getting it in.
I fuck heavy with Asians and like Scandinavian brands. They're just very like clean, but also like oversized, like not afraid to just be a little bit more elegant. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we love like Teddy, we love Kith, I love Tommy, Tombogo, my friends, John Dean, freaking Harry, Gracious MFG. It's hard. There are like a million fucking brands, like all the time, and more popping up. But I will say right now, Feng Chen Wang.
Fire.
I like that choice.
Thank you.
How about you, Zayn?
For me, I'd say luxury, just to go like classic. Like my dad like has ingrained this in my head, but Ferragamo, I'd say number one. I think they do a good job of at least the past couple of years. They keep it very traditional, but it's slick. Like it's not as stuffy as some of the other ones. So
gotcha. That's
definitely like my number one old school type brand. And then I've been wearing a lot of this small guy. His name is not physically small, small designer. His name is Patrick Irvel. He had a lot of clothes at opening ceremony, but they closed down. So I think he lived above the store opening ceremony down in Soho, and I don't know how much he's been selling otherwise. So thought I'd shout him out.
Shout outs to him. Shout outs to him.
Yeah, Patrick Irvel.
Yeah, you named a lot of good brands as well. Yeah, Zayn has the fire collab one, by the way, the Kith and BMW.
The pants.
Fire collab.
The pants.
Some good gray sweatpants.
Yeah. We've had many a combo about those pants.
No, they're really comfy.
No, I love.
Really
when the BMW Kid collab came, like when it was announced, I was like, okay, they're trying to do like Teddy Porsche, and I was like, you can't do fucking ALD Porsche, like that. That was so clean,
untouchable.
But then he dropped that video, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best campaign video I've ever seen. Like it made me cry towards the end with the music and like driving all the BMWs through Queens. I was like, holy shit,
vision is everything.
Oh yeah, and then the pieces come out, and you're like, okay, like. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we stay talking shit.
Thank you guys for coming and letting us know about the rotation. Definitely subscribe, guys. It's good company, a great company.
Absolutely. TheRotation.club. Check us out.
And what's the socials? Where can we find you guys on social media?
TheRotation.club as well. At TheRotation.club on Instagram. TheRotation.club is the web address, and we have an app too called The Rotation. Rotation Club, men's fashion, I think. Yeah. For now. We're going to update that, but yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Check us out.
Thank you guys for stopping by.
Thank you guys so
much.